Hello viewers, welcome to lecture number 18. And in this lecture, we will implement a project related to databases. And related to databases, there are a lot of databases. There is MySQL, SQL, Oracle, and also we have an SQLite database. Android uses SQLite database to persist data. To persist data means to store data. Why we are using SQLite database? Why we are not using some other kind of databases? Because it's a lightweight database, which is a good option for smartphones. The next thing is it's optimized for a single user. Okay, this database will be used by a single application. That's why it's an optimized one. It's a stable and fast version. It's a lightweight. That's why it's a fast version, and it can take very less space on the RAM. Android uses SQLite database to persist data. Okay, if you remember our previous application, that is our Starbuzz application, where we have three activities. The first one is main activity or top level activity, which consists of some options. And second activity, category activity, we have three kinds of category, that is drink, food, and stores. Then we have detail activity. So we will extend that project. For that purpose, we will create the database with the name of Starbuzz. So whenever you create a database inside an Android application, it will create two files for you. The first one is the database file, and the second one is with a suffix of journal, your application name and suffix journal. That is, you can see over here, it's a Starbuzz and journal. Okay, why we have two kind of files over here. The first one is for the database, which you already know, that over there we have to save our data. The second one, Starbuzz journal, is the file where if there exists any problem, the journal will undo your latest changes and you will go to your previous work. Okay, mean for example, you have done some some kind of problem arise due to updation of the database, or you have done some wrong changes to database. Then with the help of this database journal, you can undo your changes. Okay, is the database directory inside the app directory? No, it is not present inside the directory of the application. There is a separate directory for the application, for the database of the application. Now we will go to the next slide. Inside the next slide, Android comes with SQLite classes. So the first class for the Android is the SQLite helper class. It is the same like you are creating, it is the same class like you have done in your previous subject, which is web related, where you have to write your own SQLite helper, in which you are dealing with some insertion, updation, or modification kind of thing. Also you are connecting to the database. The second thing is cursor. Cursor is used to read or write data to the database. It is like a result in JDBC. The next thing is SQLite database. SQLite is just like a database where you can save your data. Okay, next activity, you can see this. This is the diagram of our previous application. But first I will show you our previous application to remind you related to our previous application. Okay, this is our previous application. So you will see the application. Okay, and this is our Starbuzz app. If you remember it, if you click the drink activity, we will go to drink category. Inside drink category, if you select any option, it will go to detail option. If you go to cappuccino, it will show you some cappuccino. If we go back and then we select the food, for food we have also some categories. Now if you go back for the store data, we haven't created any activity for the store data. So inside the database we will do some work on the store data. Okay, now this is our application, which consists of a top level activity, which have its own XML file. Then we have drink category activity, which have its own XML file. And the drink category is getting data from the Java activity. So, sorry, inside the drink category, whenever you click any item, The details of the item will be shown inside the drink detail activity. So in previous application, we were taking this information from our drink class. If you remember our drink class, I will show you the drink class. Okay, this is our drink class, and if you remember, we were taking our information and data related to drink from this class. But inside this application, the application we are now going to create, we have to get our data from the SQLite helper class, which is already connected, which will be already connected to the database with the name of Starbus. Okay, the SQLite helper manage your database. How SQLite helper class will is going to manage your databases? First, it will create a database for you. Then, getting access to a database, keeping the database shape. It means that you can create database with the help of SQLite helper class. Then you can create some methods inside that database. Then you can also insert data into that table. Okay, now we will go to the helper class. So inside the slide, you can see that they have created a helper class with the name of Starbus database helper. So I will also make the same. We will go to our Android project, and I will right click on com.example.starbus. So okay, now I will go to the new, then Java class. Inside the Java class, I will write Starbus database helper, and I will extend it into SQL Lite, SQLite Open Helper. Yes. So now the class is created for me, which is already extended to SQLite Helper class. But if you can see, there is an error which is showing that the abstract method are what we can say override methods are not called. So I will press Alt Enter, and it will show me implements method. I will press Enter, and you can see that we have to override these two methods. I will click OK. Now these two methods will be override. But if you can see, there is still an error over here. Why it's error over here? Because there is no default constructor available in the SQLite helper class. So right up to now we don't have any we haven't any parameterized constructor. That's why it's coming with error. So I will create a constructor of Starbus database helper, and we have to send context inside this context, and then we have to call super database, which is right now we are not calling this. So this code we have done with this code. If you can see, this is the same code with a constructor uncreate method, unupgrade method. Here we have also the same a constructor uncreate and unupgrade method. We will go to the next slide. Okay, inside the next slide, if you can see that they are telling us that first we have to give a name to the database, then we will write its version. So I will go to my code and I will write a name, public static final string. I will write a db underscore name equals to Starbus. This is the name that I provide for the database. Now we will provide the version, which is db underscore version equals to, and this is the first version. Maybe this is a new application, so I will provide it with 1. Okay, we have done with this code. Now the next thing, they are telling us that we have to call our super class. So inside the super class we have to send 4 parameters. The first one is the context, the second one is the database name, the third one is the null constructor, and we will read about it. We will cover cursor in the next chapter. This is the cursor parameter, and we will read about it in the next chapter. And the last one is the database version. So I will also call the on super the first thing I have to send over here is the context. The next thing is db name. The next thing is the cursor that we are not sending. The last thing is db version. So I'm done with this. Now we will go to the next slide. Inside the next slide, as you can see that they are showing us a table, and they are showing, and the table consists of 4 columns. The first one is the ID, the second one is the name, the third one description, fourth one image resource ID. So we have the ID, the first column ID will be an integer type, the second name will be a text type, third will be also a text, and the last will be an integer type. So now we will go and we have to create a method inside onCreate method. So this is our previous code. Now we will go to write methods for we will go and we have to write method for the table. So this is how we have to create the table. For that purpose we have to go to onCreate method. This is our onCreate method. Inside onCreate method, if you can see, we have an object of the database which is db. So I will write db dot execute sql, and inside this we have to provide the query. So I have to write my query over here, which is create table. Now I have to provide the table name and I will call it the drink, and after that uh, I have to give it these brackets, and inside the brackets I have to write code, and I will enter this. Now I will write the first thing is the ID. Sorry, it is underscore ID. Yes, it is underscore ID, and the ID is integer type, integer, and auto incremented. The next thing is primary key and auto incremented. So I will write primary key and auto incremented. Auto increment or incremented? Yes, auto increment only. Okay, we are done with this. Now we have to write the next one, which is name, and it is a text type. Then we have to write the next one, which is description. Oh, sorry, I don't remember the spelling of description. Description, it is also the text type, and the last one is integer type, and it is resource ID. So let me check what name they are giving to it. Image resource ID. So we will also write is image resource ID, and it will be integer type. Fine, I'm not wrong. Yes, it is integer type. So I'm done with this code. So this piece of code will create a table for me with the name of drink that have an ID primary is a primary key, which will be auto incremented, which means that we are not going to deal with this ID because SQLite will auto increment it for us. The next thing is the name, which is a text type. The next thing is the description, which is also text type. Image resource ID, it will be an integer type. So we have done with this code, and now we have to you have to put some data inside this table. So for that purpose we have to use content values, and inside the content values, first we will store our data, and then we will call the db.insert method. If you can see at the bottom, inside the insert method we have to provide three things. The first one is the drink, the second one is the cursor, which we are not providing right now, and the third thing is the content values, which consist of the values that we want to insert inside the drink table. So first we have to make the content values. So I will go and I will write over here content values. Write it drink values equals to new content values, and we have done with content values. Now with the help of uh, put content values, with the help of put method, we have to put data inside this content. So we will get the data from this class. So I will copy the first data from here, copy, and I will paste it, sorry, I will paste it inside the database in over here. So it's the first thing that we provide over here, which is late, and I will check date. First we have to provide the key. So I'm providing the key over here, and the key will be what will be the key? The key will be the name. Sorry, let me check what they are. They are providing they are providing one item at a time. Let me check it. Okay, for date purpose, by putting values into the drink values, we have to write that put class inside where we have to provide the name, and with the name we have to provide the real name which we want to put over here. The next thing is we have to put description, and we have to write it first description over here, then we will provide the description. The third thing is we are gonna add over here is the resource ID. So we will provide the I will copy paste from the above image resource ID, and then we have to provide a resource ID over here. Okay, after that then we have to after that then we have to write the insert db dot insert, and over here we have to provide this table name which is drink. Then we have to provide a null for instead of cursor, and then we have to provide the drink values. This is how we have to save only one value. Okay, but what if we have to save multiple value? Then we have to write this code for multiple time. For date purpose, we will write a function which is public. Okay, this is the function. First I will show it inside our slide. This is the function that I'm going to write over here. Inside date function we will provide the code, then we will call this function for each. So I will write public static, and this will be insert drinks, insert drink, and over here I will write SQLite database, and the next thing is string. It will be a name. The next thing is string. It will be a description, and the next thing is integer, which is resource ID. So for resource ID I will write it RSOUR resource ID. This is my method, and inside the method I will copy and paste my code from here. So over here I will provide the name, then I will provide description, then I will provide resource ID, and then we will call db. So and over here it will be a db. And then we have to call database. So static is not allowed over here. Okay, we haven't write the void return type, that's why it's giving me an error. Now everything is fine. Now we have to add, now we can add multiple rows with the help of only one statement, which is insert drink. This will be db, and after db I have to copy data from the drinks. So I will copy this data and I will paste this data over here, and it is work fine. Next I will insert db, then I will copy another transaction from here and I will paste it over here. Okay, done with second one. And then I will provide another one db. I will copy the last one and it will work fine. Okay, now I am providing this data with the help of a static or hard code, but you can copy the but you can get this data from any external file, which can be a CSV file, which can be an Excel file, which can be another database file. For the first time when you are adding the data into your database, maybe your data will be in the form of Excel sheet. So you have to get that data from the Excel sheet, and you have to write that data over here. Now we will proceed on with slide. In the next slide, they are writing the three data which we had already done. Inside the next slide, what they are going to show us, they are showing us that this will be our whole code for the Starbus database helper. Now, our database helper is fine. It is creating a table for us. Then it is inserting data into the table. It is inserting the data into the table. Now the last thing is we are going to make it sure that whether our database is successfully created and whether we can get the data from our database or not. So for that purpose, I'm going to add, if you can see, we have a main activity, then we have food category and drink category, but we don't have any store category. And inside the main activity, we have also a store option. So for store option, I will add a new activity, and I will name it uh, store category. So I will write it store category. Okay, fine, finish. Okay, now it will take a little bit time in synchronization, but now we will go to the slide and we will read inside the slide. So inside the slide, you can see first I'm making a helper class object. Then with the help of helper class object, I am getting the database. Then with the help of database, I'm executing this raw query, and from this raw query, I am getting the result inside of my cursor. So I will go and I will write this code over here. The first thing is we have to create the helper class object. So I will say it helper equals to new, and it will be Starbus. Then we have provide the context over here. So I will write only this. The next thing is we have to get the database. So I will write SQLite database db equals to and helper dot get readable database. Okay, if you can see, we have two kinds of methods over here. The first one is get readable database, and the second one is get writable database. If you select the first method, which is get readable database, with the help of this method you can only read data from the database. Okay, but if you select the next one, which is get writable database, with the help of this method you can do both reading and writing. So but for now I'm only reading the data, so I will select the first one. Okay, I'm done with this. The next thing is we have to create the cursor. The cursor is same like the cursor in JDBC. So I will make the cursor equals to db dot execute raw query, and inside the raw query I have to write my query. So my query is select name from drinks. I only want to take name from the drinks. Let me select the data, select name from, okay, I will write it over here. But if you can see what they want to get from us inside this is, I will click all control. No, they are not showing anything over here. So inside here we have to write the query, which is select name from table, and the table name is drink. And the next thing we have to provide over here is, if you can see, it's a string array. So you can provide a string array with the help of this new string, and then you have to provide an empty string, and you are done with it. Okay, it will also work fine for you, but if you are not, if you don't like this, then simply write a null over here. It will work for you also. So now we will go back to the code. Now we are going to check whether cursor is null or not. If our database is successfully created, if our database is successfully created and we get the cursor, then it will not equals to null. But if our databases haven't created or we have some issue with the database, then it will not come inside this if condition. Okay, inside this condition, we are going to move our cursor to the first. Okay, wherever our cursor will be, we will move it to the first. Now over here, we are going to get the name values from the database from the cursor. So we will write a code do. I'm going to write a do while code. Inside the do while code, over here I will write the while section. Inside the while section, and I write cursor dot move next. So what this code is actually doing? So over here, what I'm going to write over here, code. The code will be executed for the first time. Then it will check that we have a next data or not. If we have the next data, then again our code will be executed. Our code will must be executed for that much time as much we have data inside our database. So that's why I write a do while code over here. Now let's check how we can get data from the inside the do while. So in uh, string builder, string builder is a kind of object inside which you can save multiple strings. So before before do while, I will create a string builder object. This is my string builder equals to new string builder. Now I had my string builder object. Now I will, no, it's not. We need string builder. This is my string builder dot extend, yeah, or dot append. Inside over here we will get data. Okay, we have to write cursor dot get string. So I will write it get string. Inside the get string, if you can see, they are telling us that we have to provide the column ID. So the question is, what kind of column ID is this? So we will go back to our slide. Inside the slide, I will show you what kind of ID this is. If you remember, we have created this kind of database inside our application. So this column ID is the column ID of this table. If we provide it 0, it means that we are only getting the names. If we provide the description, if we provide 1, it means we are getting the description, and with the help of 2, you can get image resource ID. But first you have to get all those things with the help of query. And over here you can see that I am only getting the name. So if I am only getting the name, it means that cursor have only one data. If cursor have only one data, then I have to write 0 over here. So for each time it is appending a 0 column index of the cursor, and we are storing it inside the string builder. So plus I will also add some data over here, and I will write it. I will append the string with the help of this. Okay. Uh, that is, it will show the data mean in between two names there will be a small space. So now we have our data inside the string builder class. Now we need a text view. With the help of that text view, we have to show the data that we are getting from the database. So I will go to activity drink category class, and no, sorry, we will go to activity store category.xml, and over there I will write a text view. I will add a text view. Text view, it will be match parent. I will do this also match parent, then I will give it an ID, and inside the ID I will provide just a text. So I will go back to my store category.java class, and then now over here I have to create a text view object. This is my text view object equals to find view by ID r.id.text. This is my text view object. Now we have to set text on this text view. So I will write that set text. Then I had a string builder dot to string. So all the whole string will be converted into only one string, and that string will be shown with the help of that text view. Now we had store category activity, and if you click the third option, store category option, it must have to come to this category. So when the user click the third option, we will check, oh bingo, over here if you can see we are only providing two options. So I will also add another option over here. It will be option 2, and it is store category. It should be store category. Okay, now it will work fine. So I will run my application, then I will show you whether it is working or not. If we have any error, I will. My application is successfully installed, and now soon you will see the application over here. So this is the application, and we add the code to the store category. So we will click the store, and bingo, you can see that it is fetching the name of all the drinks, and it is successfully setting all those drinks name on that text view, and you can see it. So but if you remember, we have to do this kind of work with drink activity. Mean inside the database we add data for the drink. So we click the LITE data, so over here this detail activity must have to get data from the database. But actually we are doing this inside our store category just for example purpose, that now we are sure that we can get data from the database and our database is successfully working. So you can also do it by yourself by writing the same code for the drink detail activity, and inside the drink detail activity you have to get data from the database and you have to show that data inside our detail activity. Okay, now I will give you an overview of the code. So the first thing you have to do is you have to write your database helper class, and your database helper class must extend SQLite open helper. Okay, when you extend your database helper class to SQLite open helper, then you must have to override these two methods. The first one is onCreate, and the second one is onUpgrade. Okay, there is also another method which is called onDowngrade. Uh, inside onCreate method, you have to make your tables. You have to make your tables. You have to create a database. You have to make your tables. You can also insert data inside the database, and with the help of an upgrade method, when you are upgrading from the old version of database to the newer version of the database, then we will use this method. With the help of downgrade, we can also downgrade our database version to an older version. So we will use these two methods in future, but up to now we have only to use uncreate method. Okay, but we have also to write a constructor class, and inside the constructor class we are going to make our database. So we will provide the context name of the database, then the database version. So our constructor is going to create a database for us with the help of db name, and we provide it a starbus. Then inside the onCreate method we are creating a table with the help of this statement, and this statement is creating a drink table for us that consists of a primary key and three attribute, which is name, description, and resource image id. Then we are adding three details drinks to the database with the help of insert drink method, which is our custom method which we write for ourselves, our own purpose, so that it is easy for us to add multiple drinks to the drink table. Okay, then we will go to the store category. Inside the store category, first you have to create the helper class object. With the help of helper class object, you have to get the db object. So now we have the db object with the help of db. Then with the help of db object, you can execute a raw query. So here I had write my raw query, and we are providing the strings. Okay, one thing I will tell you over here, that these strings are those strings which we are providing when we are writing some kind of custom query, which is when we are doing like select all from the drinks having name this or having id this kind of query. for date purpose we have to provide string. Okay, then inside the cursor we have the results of the query. Then from the cursor we are getting all the data. So first we have to move the cursor at the top. Then we will get the data. So when we are getting the data from the database, we have to store all those data inside an object. And for date purpose, in Java is providing us a string builder. So inside the string builder you can append data easily. So I'm getting the data from the cursor and I'm appending this data inside the string builder. Then I'm showing this data with the help of a text view. And after that I run my application. You can see that it is working fine. Thank you so much for your time.